Today on Studio One, iPods and other MP3 players have become a popular way to listen to music. We'll tell you why these small devices are raising some big concerns. Also, hundreds of thousands of Americans are on dialysis, hoping for a new kidney. We'll tell you about one woman's journey of disappointment and faith. And art comes in many forms. We'll show you how artists are coming together to help a museum stay open.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hello everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Jenna Lund.
Thanks a lot for joining us today. It's the first show of the season for us here in 2006 and we'll be with you all the way through April. So we've got a lot of good things lined up. We're excited today. We have a guest on the program who's going to talk about pandemics.
Those can cause a lot of population devastation.
Yes, really bad stuff. The avian flu, some people know about that. We'll be finding out some facts about that and what you can do at home to prepare for a possible pandemic. Also on the show, across the nation, college students have been trying to save money by not buying textbooks required for their classes. Later, we'll see how the absence of textbooks may be affecting their education.
Also, new relationships open roads to exciting beginnings. However, things can sometimes take a quick turn the wrong way. One expert will offer her advice on how bad choices can be prevented.
But first, here's today's news with Mariah Torning.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. The United Nations says that the U.S. prison in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, should close immediately. In a 54-page report released Thursday, the UN says the prisoners being held there should be released or tried. The White House says the UN Commission did not even visit Guantanamo Bay before issuing their findings. The report's authors say that's because they would have been denied personal interviews with detainees. The report's authors say that all the victims must be given the opportunity to complain about treatment. It also concluded any detainee that was treated cruelly should be compensated by the U.S. government. Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld told members of Congress Thursday that U.S. troops are not in Iraq because of oil. He appeared before the House Defense Appropriations Subcommittee. Rumsfeld was there to gain support for next year's defense budget of $439. He says there are no plans for permanent bases in Iraq. Many people run online businesses or keep important documents hidden away in email accounts. A new problem is presenting itself as people rely so heavily on the internet. Many accounts are locked unless a password is used to access them. If the owner of an account dies, that can create problems for family and business partners. They may have difficulty taking care of business affairs and retrieving personal documents. Attorneys say there is one thing a person can do to make things easier on their family.
It is a good idea to write those things down and to leave a trail or a record of them for those that do follow behind.
Attorneys say that keeping a list of all your passwords and usernames is important. The most crucial thing to remember is to leave it somewhere safe and accessible. Prescription drug information is getting a makeover. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved changes for warning labels and package inserts for prescription drugs. The new labels will provide doctors and patients with clear and concise information needed for the drugs. According to the FDA, about 300,000 harmful drug reactions occur in U.S. hospitals each year. Many are the result of confusing medical information. The newly designed package insert will provide the most up-to-date information about the drugs. A college education is important to students. Textbooks can be an important tool in getting that education, but many students are wondering if they are worth the cost.
As students come back to school, many are in for a shock. They discover the textbooks they need for their classes cost more than they expected.
Textbooks are high price for college students. Just being able to afford them on top of tuition, they just seem to be so overly priced just compared to other books.
Some students are even choosing not to purchase that all-important book. According to a Government Accountability Office study, 60% of students choose not to purchase all the required reading material for their classes. Some say that choice may hurt the students in the long run.
They would be missing a lot of the simply connecting and material that they need to comprehend what we're doing if they don't have a textbook.
Some students may blame their local retailer, but the manager at this campus bookstore says they have no control over the cost.
We have seen an increase in textbook pricing over the years. It has continued to grow. The pricing of textbooks are determined by the publisher.
Abernathy says the rising prices have to do with the increase in cost of the developing of things that come with the books, such as CD-ROMs and workbooks. The prices have students wondering how high they will go, but there are those who look at it differently.
You know, the price does, don't get me wrong, the price does bother me. Like, I don't like spending a lot of my money on textbooks, but because of the courses that I'm taking, like, I feel I utilize my books, so I get my money's worth out of it.
But unless prices come down, other students may decide that textbooks are a course item they'll have to do without. I'm Lance Vogel reporting for Studio One.
The Government Accountability Office also found that textbooks have tripled in price from 1986 to 2004. And that's the news for now. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks a lot, Mariah. Well, around here, it has been frigid as
Really
of late.
cold.
Yeah.
This morning, my teeth were chattering, my hair was on end, but my car did start.
It
so
did. That's
that
a
was
good thing. You have to get out there and start it like 15, 20 minutes before
Right.
you try and drive it.
But Matt Bentz from the weather studio can probably tell us what's going on.
I sure hope so.
Matt, why is it so freezing outside?
Well, you know what? It's been really cold around here. I know this morning. Once it seems like 10 to 20 below outside, truck is having a little bit of a problem starting, but it did start. So let me tell you why it's been so cold. It's because we had the polar vortex, and that's just a fancy word to say that's basically the coldest air on Earth in the northern hemisphere. This cold air is often bottled up around the North Pole here, and during the winter time we'll see chunks of this cold air break southward. Well, right now that whole vortex spun around, and it's actually coming down towards the south, towards, well, the U.S. So basically all that Arctic air is right over the northern U.S., and we're seeing extremely cold temperatures, and this is why we've been seeing such cold temperatures as of recently. And it looks like for the next couple weeks, maybe not quite the vortex itself is going to be over us, but it'll be down towards the south, keeping us a little bit cooler. Well, that's all because of the jet stream, but the jet stream doesn't just bring us cold air, it also brings us, well, storm systems for that matter. We have 3 storm systems, and I'll have 3 here that I'll talk to you about. The first one is Alberta Clipper, and that forms up into Canada. It's usually a small storm system, forms along the front range of the Rockies. Fast-moving system, usually gives you a quick shot of cold air, pretty dry. It moves off towards the northeast. Next one is a Colorado Low. This forms, you guessed it, over Colorado, and that usually comes across the Midwest, across the Great Lakes. And this storm system draws off the Gulf moisture here, and it can actually drop a lot of rain and a lot of snow across the upper Midwest as well as the Great Lakes. This storm system often follows the jet stream off towards the northeast. And finally, we have a nor'easter, and this is in the news because quite recently we saw one, actually just this past weekend. These form off towards the southeast and crawl up the eastern seaboard, and these can be very powerful because they draw off of Gulf moisture as well as moisture off into the Atlantic, and these will crawl up the eastern seaboard and can cause a lot of damage, whether it's in snow, ice, or rain. And that's what we saw this past weekend. And actually our weather question deals with this. What was the previous 24-hour snowfall record for New York City? They actually broke that just recently. So we're asking you, what was the old record for New York City? So we'll have some footage of that nor'easter storm off of the East Coast, as well as the answer to your question.
Thanks, Matt. 24 hours can be a long time.
Yes, and those New York City, the record, the old record was up in the 26-inch range. Wow.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of snow. All right, well, let's turn to sports now for some hoops highlights with Nathan Shane.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. It is season number 3 in the LeBron James era, and so far he has lived up to expectations. But he hasn't led the Cavs to the playoffs yet, a place where the great ones have left their mark on the game. The Cavs are in a good position this year in second place in their division, taking on the Boston Celtics. They had a good start in this one, up 11 early, but Boston's Paul Pierce would take on 2 Cavs there with the dunk. 41-32 Cleveland. Now in the fourth quarter, the score a little closer, and LeBron James with a nasty dunk. Feel bad for Delonte West there. Cleveland goes up by 2. Now in the first overtime, this game would go into a couple of them. Paul Pierce had 50 on the night. That plus the free throw would send it into double overtime. Wally Szczerbiak a chance to extend it even further, but his shot would miss. Cleveland wins a thriller 113-109. On to Dallas, where the Mavericks take on the Washington Wizards. Jason Terry hits the J here, Mavs up 10 early. But now on the fourth quarter, the Wizards looking to make this a game. Caron Butler takes a baseline, kisses it off the glass. Wizards only down by 1. Only 20 seconds left in the game. Jason Terry says, hey, the game's over, fellas. He puts in the runner. Final score, Mavericks win 103-97. Fans come in many shapes and sizes, and some even paint themselves in their team's colors. But there may be a new common denominator when considering who the biggest fans really are. ESPN has come out with a new cell phone for the true sport enthusiast. The makers claim the phone delivers the most immersive on-the-go sports content experience you can get at the touch of a button. The phone features sports news, videos, and real-time stats, but it may offer even more to die-hard fans.
It's going to be really helpful for a lot of the fantasy sports enthusiasts, you know, because it's going to give you up-to-date on all your stuff, just like ESPN.com would.
The new phone uses a carrier Sprint for service. All the convenience doesn't come cheap, however. The phone costs around $200 plus a monthly service fee. And it's now time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. And as you may have heard, the Olympics are going on right now. So we want to know, instead of medals, the winners of the 1900 France Olympics were given what? The answers are cash, piece of art, crown of olive branches, or a beret. And we'll have the answer to that question plus some more sports later on in the show. Monty and Jenna.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. A new movie shows a distraught mother who searches for her son while the police search her for the truth. Later we'll preview the film Freedom Land.
Also, for many, dating is like job hunting. Getting experience and becoming marketable are only a few steps toward finding the right person. One woman has the answers to avoid hooking up with the jerk or jerkette.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty founded Texas Instruments and helped it become one of the nation's high-tech giants. Raymond Rood is responsible for the modern diving board. His diving boards have been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. Chris Moen and Marlene Schott launched their food company through the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Will yours be next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Advance your career with a graduate business degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers a variety of master's degrees that can help you stand out in the competitive business world. Our programs accommodate full-time students as well as working professionals. Our state-of-the-art facilities, dedicated faculty, and entrepreneurial training position graduates for careers as business leaders. Make your move towards a business leadership position. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
You're watching Studio One, your source for news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Many people look online, look at newspaper ads, and look to friends' help to find the perfect mate. However, just like a bad boss, the wrong partner can become your worst nightmare. Expert on building healthy relationships, Keri Kerr Welsh has helped many to avoid dating the wrong person. Thank you so much for coming on the show today. I understand that you lead a program called How to Avoid Dating a Jerk or Jerkette. What is your main motive for this program?
One of the things that we looked at when we started using this program, I work at CVIC, which is a crisis center, and we right now get involved with helping people who are already in bad relationships, abusive relationships, and we wanted to look at how can we start getting to them before they get into a bad relationship. So really all about intervention, or prevention versus intervention.
Is there a certain target group for this program?
Right now we're targeting 18 to 24-year-olds, so we're doing a lot with the university. We're also doing a lot with our Grand Forks Air Force Base, and really targeting that, hopefully 18 that haven't been married yet, population.
And why did you pick this population?
Well, I think, again, you're looking at people who are maybe just, you're getting out of home for the first time, going away to college, entering the Air Force, and probably getting into some new relationships, but the potential of looking for a serious mate. So.
Okay, so how did the program, the title is pretty catchy. How did they decide to choose that?
The curriculum was actually developed by Dr. John Van Epp, and so we didn't have anything to do with developing the title of the curriculum. When we first heard it, we weren't sure if we should use it because the word jerk or jerkette is offensive to some people, I think. But we also thought it was really catchy and that we thought people would really enjoy and want to come hear about what it was about.
Okay. Some people rush into serious relationships. How dangerous can this be?
Very dangerous. People who rush in and who don't really look at the relationship and look for the good qualities of the relationship can find themselves in an abusive relationship. And once you're in an abusive relationship, it's much harder to get out than it is to to obviously avoid those in the first place.
Okay. There's the phrase, love is blind. Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, I think love is blind. When we first meet people, we're attracted physically oftentimes to that person, and so we fall in lust versus love, and it's this more of an infatuation, and it's the emails and the cards and the flowers and the long phone calls. And unfortunately, those images oftentimes fade after time because we have the image of, again, just their physical appearance or some of those initial attractions.
Okay, that can be like the honeymoon period. How long does that usually last before the true colors really start to show?
Oftentimes people can hold it together for about 3 months, and so they can keep their good behaviors in check. It's the opening of the doors and again the cards and the long phone calls, and after about 3 months people start to show their true colors in a relationship.
What are the first warning signs if it's going to become a bad relationship?
Well, I think some of the things to look for if you're in your relationship, if your partner is starting to act differently when they're with you, say in public or with your friends or with family, and then if they're acting a different way when you're in private, that's obviously a warning sign. Other warning signs is that you start to not be able to express your feelings or your emotions or your thoughts about things. You don't feel like you're on an equal footing with that person.
Okay. Oftentimes, a lot of friends and family will say whether they like the relationship or they don't. Should you trust these people?
Friends and family oftentimes have very, very good insights. When we are in the middle of a relationship, I think it's hard for us to want to see things. And so when friends and family are pointing things out to us, we really should listen to what they're saying and at least think about it and consider what they're saying.
What are the different signs in a bad relationship? Like different levels?
Again, some of the different, there's no perfect relationship, but there's definitely healthy relationships. And again, the signs are going to come up gradually. Again, somebody starts to act differently when they're out in public or versus private. Name calling. Again, when you start to get in arguments, they start to pick on, who left the toothbrush or the cap off the toothpaste or the toilet seat issue. So there's a lot of little things that all of a sudden become these big arguments.
Mm-hmm. Can you ever change the other person?
No, you cannot. We can only change ourselves, and so it's important for people to realize that. I can't change you, you can't change me. I can just look at my own behaviors. And so I think a lot of people stick in bad relationships because they believe that they can change the other person. And that isn't going to happen. People have to want to make those decisions and those changes themselves.
You said that people stick in a bad relationship. How can you get out of it?
It's looking at the warning signs, relying on friends and family for support, seeking out actually professional help if you need to, especially if it's become an abusive relationship. It's important to find the nearest crisis center, meet up with an advocate that can help do some safety planning and get you connected to additional resources to make that safer and easier to get out.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming today. I appreciate it. It's a lot of valuable information. for new couples to know. So, coming up, news about the avian flu virus has diminished since last fall. Later in the show, we'll speak to someone who will tell us why we should still be concerned. Also, we'll follow one author's journey into the heart of the Ku Klux Klan. Next, we'll introduce you to one fearless man who had every reason to be afraid.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by Options, your disability information source.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
Explore the educational opportunities available through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota. With just one phone call or a click of the mouse, you'll find high-quality programs designed for today's adults. We have a large selection of continuing education courses that are available at a time and place that's convenient for you. Discover a world of learning through the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
Revolution Studios presents the suspenseful thriller Freedom Land. The movie begins with a distraught mother whose car has been hijacked with her child still inside. Samuel L. Jackson plays a detective who is determined to find the woman's son. When more clues surface, he is steered toward an abandoned children's asylum called Freedom Land. Julianne Moore plays the mother and says working with Jackson was better than she could have imagined.
He's so funny and smart and makes everything so effortless, you know. With Sam, his acting looks like breathing, you know, you never see it.
The film was shot mainly in the projects of New York City. More than 50 residents played extras in the film. Many apartments were rented out by the production company. Freedom Land opens in theaters on February 17th. Now it's time to take a look at the events happening in your area. It started with just 6 college students and escalated to approximately 4 million members. Today, the Ku Klux Klan is nearly non-existent. Some, however, are still dedicated to eliminating it completely.
These people are gathered here to see Daryl Davis. He is a man who has attended many Ku Klux Klan rallies. One of his closest friends is an ex-Klan leader. He even owns an official Klan member robe and mask. If that doesn't shock you, his appearance probably will.
When you are the first to pioneer something, it's always hard, you know, because you're creating the path. You're not following somebody else's.
Growing up, Davis was confused by the verbal and physical abuse he experienced simply because he was black. He wanted answers. In his mid-20s, he began to schedule meetings with Klan members who were unaware of his race. Davis actually managed to convert about 18 Klan members, which led to a domino effect. Davis says that while you are actively learning about someone else, you are passively teaching them something about yourself. But Davis's teachings go well beyond the Ku Klux Klan.
What stood out to me was having a listening ear and just allow the person to speak, whether they hate your race or hate you for some apparent reason.
One of Davis's greatest heroines is Rosa Parks.
She has stood her ground, and I've always admired that woman. And she was one of my heroes, and I hoped to one day just, polish her shoes.
Davis reminds us that sometimes lending an open ear is all it takes to open the minds of others. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Virginia Sticka.
When he's not on the road giving lectures, Davis enjoys playing music with his blues band. Coming up, about 350,000 Americans currently receive dialysis treatments. Many depend on dialysis to live, but consider quitting this grueling process. In our Studio One Spotlight, one woman shares with us her story and her decision. That story plus news, sports, and weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
Do you need a flexible way to earn your degree? The University of North Dakota's Degrees After Hours program is designed to work around your full-time schedule. Whether you've got a family, a full-time job, or both, the Degrees After Hours program offers you flexible alternatives. You can earn a degree or take courses online through video conferencing and in the evenings or on weekends. UND's Degrees After Hours program fits your needs, your schedule, and your goals. Contact UND today.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks a lot for joining us today. We've got a lot of great stories coming up for you in the next 30 minutes on Studio One. First off, when portable MP3 players were introduced, it gave people the freedom to take their music anywhere. But these convenient devices also brought with them a growing health concern.
Also, it can be difficult to make health-related decisions. This task becomes even harder if it's a life-ending decision. Coming up in our Spotlight story, we'll tell you about one woman's turmoil in making her own choice.
And we're faced with viruses every day. Later, we'll talk with someone who will tell us why simple good habits may save us from a deadly virus. But first, here's today's news with Mariah Torning.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. The British man accused of killing his wife and baby daughter pleaded not guilty Thursday. Neil Entwistle appeared for his arraignment in a Massachusetts court. Entwistle did not speak during his 5-minute appearance. Standing rigid and expressionless, he entered his plea through his lawyer. Entwistle will return to court March 15th for a probable cause hearing. If convicted, he could be sentenced to life in prison without parole. Massachusetts does not have the death penalty. An anonymous tip led authorities in Florida to a roach-infested trailer home filled with more than 60 animals. The caller told authorities that the elderly owner had been hospitalized and unable to care for the pets. When officers and animal services entered the home, they found dogs, cats, rabbits, and a variety of other pets, all without water. 9 were found dead. Animal Control says they have been to the home 4 times in the last 5 years for animal neglect. The pets were transported to a local shelter. Hybrid cars offer drivers high safety standards, high gas mileage, and high-end driving technology. But one low many owners of these vehicles will soon be able to take advantage of are reduced insurance premiums. An insurance company based in St. Paul, Minnesota will be the first to offer a 10% discount on car insurance to owners of hybrid vehicles. They found that hybrid owners fit a profile of low-risk drivers who would qualify for a lower insurance rate. But cautious driving is not the only reason rates could be lower.
It would be because of their high safety standards that they have been issued such a high rating for safety. Then that's the reason why the insurance is going to be cheaper on those.
Walters also says those who purchase hybrid vehicles are given up to $2,000 in tax breaks. The smell of a new car is something many people enjoy, but for others, it's a cause for concern. A Michigan environmental group says that part of that new car smell is toxic. They are calling for tougher regulations to phase out the use of these toxic chemicals, which are used as fire retardants. These chemicals have been linked to birth defects, impaired learning, and other serious health problems. Auto manufacturers have already agreed to phase out 2 of the 3 flame retardant chemicals. More and more people are using iPods and other MP3 players to listen to their favorite songs, but many are unaware of the consequences of continuous use.
College students like these really like their music. So much, in fact, many of them carry portable music players like iPods.
They're really handy because, you can listen to music anywhere.
These tiny devices can put hundreds of songs at their fingertips.
This only holds about 1,000 songs, and I think I have about 600 on it.
But one thing many young people aren't listening to,
you can actually feel the pressure inside your ear,
are the warnings about the volume of their music. Audiologists say listening at levels higher than 85 decibels for an hour or more can cause significant hearing damage, and many of these music players can reach levels much higher than that.
It can have an output of anywhere from 105 to 120 decibels if the volume is turned up to max.
A good rule of thumb to follow when listening to your iPod is to never have the volume turned up so loud that other people can hear it. You should also never have to remove your headphones in order to hear someone talking to you. Green says ringing in the ears after listening for a long time is a sign the volume is too high.
It's usually a permanent type hearing loss. Once the hearing system is damaged due to noise, it's damaged. There's no fixing that type of hearing loss. It is more permanent.
Unless these listeners are willing to turn down their favorite music, it may be harder to hear it in the future. I'm Danielle Webster reporting for Studio One News.
Experts recommend no more than 1 hour of listening per day to ensure safe headphone use. The volume should be turned up no higher than 60%. And that's the news for now. Monty and Jenna?
Thanks a lot, Mariah. I know you see a lot of people walking with winter hats, and then you see 2 cables coming down beside.
From their iPods.
Yeah. A lot of people listening
Everyone's
to
always text messaging, and the cell phones are ringing. You can't even stay off the hook.
You're always hooked into something.
Right. But Matt was going to tell us more about the eastern states. They're having some bad weather over there.
Yeah, a lot of winter weather.
Being dumped with snow. Matt, why is the East Coast being hit so hard?
Well, they were hit so hard because they had a huge nor'easter move through their area, and it actually just affected just the areas closest to the eastern seaboard. This is out in Philadelphia here, this shot. They picked up over 12 inches of snow. If you watch closely, yeah, that's lightning and a little bit of thunder going on, and when you get these heavy snowfalls like what they did out east, you can actually get thunder snow. Is a term that they give it, so it's a little unusual when you see it snowing and you see it lightning outside, but New York City picked up over 2 feet of snow, and up towards the north, towards Boston, they had some pretty good gusty winds up towards 40 miles an hour, so it created near blizzard conditions. But here's some snowfall totals. It looks like your record for the award for the most snowfall goes to Fairfield, Connecticut. They had just over 30 inches of snow, and all the way down towards Columbia, Maryland, just outside of Baltimore, they had over 21 inches of snow, so a lot of snowfall. But if you go just inland a little bit, they don't have hardly any snowfall, and that's really been the story for our winter. We've seen winter 2006 is likely to go in the record books as probably one of the warmest and one of the least snowiest records on record. And it's really leaving people wondering what happened to this winter.
2006 started with one of the warmest Januaries on record. Normal January temperatures hover around 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. We saw temperatures in the 30s. There is something 30,000 feet above our heads driving this warmer weather our way.
The jet stream can be thought of as a river of fast-moving air that tends to steer weather systems.
The jet stream can travel up to 200 miles per hour. The jet stream also tends to help steer low and high pressure areas, bringing with it warm and cold air masses. So far this winter we have generally seen warmer conditions with the jet stream well off to our north.
So this has kept the coldest air away from our area and more in the polar regions.
There are two different jet streams that affect North America. The polar jet stream is associated with colder air during the winter months. The tropical jet stream brings us warmer weather during the summer. Even though winter is half over, there is still the chance that the jet stream will dip south and bring us the colder air that we are used to. Reporting for Studio One, I'm Rob Parrish.
We actually saw this dip in the jet stream over the first weeks of February, and it looks like it'll continue over the next couple weeks, so we'll see more January-like temperatures for February. Well, here's a recap of your question that we asked you earlier. The record was actually set back in 1947, and the previous record for the New York City snowfall was 26.4 inches. So that was set back in December of 1947. So it's been a little while since they've seen a pretty healthy snowfall, but this past one really set up for the books.
Thank you, Matt. I guess you can count on doing a lot of hours of snow shoveling.
Yeah, I mean, anything over a foot, I think you're in trouble, right?
Yeah.
2 feet is a lot. All right, well, let's go to sports again with Nathan Shane.
Thank you, Monty and Jenna. Keeping in step with your team is important in any sport, but it is crucial in competitive dancing. One squad has mixed this concept with team bonding to find success despite some obstacles.
Music, pom-poms, and a whole lot of getting jiggy with it can be found at the North Dakota State Dance Championship. The competition combines a variety of dance categories and serves as a culmination of rhythm and hard work for teams all over the state.
Teams work their whole entire year to get to this point, and it's pretty intense.
Teams are judged on their technical and creative skills. They can compete in the dance, pom, high kick, and novelty divisions. The Devils Lake Dazzlers are among the competing teams, and they stress team unity as a key to success.
We don't just get to put a few kids on the floor. We put our entire team on the floor in the sport of dance. We don't have our top 5 with the rest sitting on the bench. And so every member on the team has to be strong.
In only their 3rd year of competition, the Dazzlers have had to take baby steps to achieve success. Head coach Erin Lucina will soon be watching one of her own take baby steps. She is 7 months pregnant and has needed to rely on her team leaders more than usual.
I trust them wholeheartedly, and they're able to manage themselves pretty well. It's a pretty easy coaching job.
Competitive dancing relies heavily on staying together, and the Dazzlers do just that.
I feel like we're a closer team usually than like the basketball team or the volleyball team is. We get to bond a lot, and it's something different.
While the team placed only as high as 5th, their spirit and harmony was certainly dazzling. For Studio One Sports, I'm Nick Johnson reporting.
Competitive dancing is most visible at the college ranks, where their national meets can be seen on ESPN. And now the answer to this week's Studio One Sports Trivia question. Instead of medals, the winners of the 1900 France Olympics were given what? Well, they were given a piece of art. I wonder if those came in gold, silver, and bronze. Well, that's the sports. Monty and Jenna.
Thanks a lot, Nathan. Always a work of art, Nathan's sportscast. The fine arts are important to any community. Next, we'll show you how one town helps support its own creators of culture.
Also, kidney failure can affect people of all ages, and more people are going on dialysis to survive. In our Spotlight story, we'll tell you how that is bringing many patients to a very difficult decision.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I'm a really good people person.
I really love working with people.
I'm very, very motivated.
I'm a great people person. I am really motivated.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out. UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
Did I mention I'm great with people?
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND offers students exceptional learning opportunities. Undergraduates are helping faculty design and build unmanned aerial vehicles to test remote imaging devices. They're also converting wind energy into hydrogen. Geological science students are contributing to environmental research. Extracurricular activities include designing, building, and racing a fuel cell car. Make the most of your college experience at UND's School of Engineering and Mines.
Let the University of North Dakota become your partner by providing your business with services to enhance your workforce. The UND Office of Workforce Development has extensive experience conducting employee satisfaction research, strategic planning, focus groups, and grant development. Call us for further information. Workforce Development, a service of the Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
North Dakota is known by many for its open prairies, friendly people, and small town atmosphere. There's one museum that has something else North Dakotan that is getting a lot of attention.
There's an auction tonight at the North Dakota Museum of Art, a black tie and social event fundraiser that has brought out some of the most well-known citizens of the community. Some pieces of art range from the traditional to the harder to figure out. Many of the artists have come from miles around and are grateful for the turnout seen in the Northlands.
The art culture here in North Dakota is very interesting. I'm new to it. I'm newly introduced to it. Certainly different from what I'm used to in Wisconsin.
Organizers have thought out creative ways to showcase their art.
We have a large volunteer group that acts as walking easels and carries the artwork among the tables and the silent bidding goes on all evening until about 10 o'clock.
Many of the art lovers enjoyed the laid-back atmosphere.
I like it. It's a lot of fun. I get to socialize with a lot of people I don't see other times of the year. It's fun. It's a good event.
Not only does this event contribute to the museum, but it also gives artists who may get less exposure than others a chance to show off their work.
It comes and it goes. I'll have a $2,000 month and then not sell for 3 months, then have a really good month. It's just hard to say. I've never wanted to rely on it for income, that's for sure. Hopefully someday.
As the auction draws to a close, the art lovers quickly try to bid on their favorite pieces. The success of the event is not only measured by the money raised for the museum and the artists, but by the awareness of the thriving art culture in North Dakota. This is Patrick Wynn reporting for Studio One.
The yearly event helps raise money to keep the museum open. Some of the artists donated all their proceeds to the art gallery. Cartoons are pushing the limits of appropriate content for television. Popular animated shows like South Park, Drawn Together, and Family Guy sometimes include themes that include sex, drugs, and violence. Viewers have a wide variety of cartoons with different content that they can watch. We wanted your thoughts on the subject matter shown in cartoons.
I think some shows show a lot of bloodshed and stuff, which kids shouldn't be watching or be around.
Don't think it has really any effect on like how I would go about daily life.
I think it depends on who's watching it. I don't believe cartoon violence should be viewed by young children. If it's adults watching it and it's their decision, then that's fine.
It's totally inappropriate for my children or any other children to be watching cartoons with violence in them.
I wouldn't think it would be normally for the younger kids of the nation today. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, you know, aimed towards the adults.
I definitely monitor what my kids are watching to a certain extent, but I don't think it's that really big of a deal.
Many people spend their days waiting for their kids, waiting in line, and waiting for their morning coffee to brew. But nearly 64,000 Americans are waiting for a unique gift, which could take years to receive.
Bobby Lavoie spends her days working as a counselor. For the past 10 years, she has been spending many nights a bit differently.
You go 3 times a week whether you like it or not.
Bobby is one of 350,000 Americans who receive a special medical treatment. She comes to this hospital more than 150 times a year to have her blood cleaned.
The blood will go into the top and then out the bottom. And once it's out the bottom, then it's been cleaned and it was returned back to my body.
Bobby relies on a kidney dialysis machine to live. This process takes nearly 4 hours and leaves the patient feeling fatigued. Some say it feels like they have just run a marathon.
You don't have a choice. I mean, this is how you stay alive.
Before she began dialysis, she had not 1 but 2 kidney transplants. The second came from her younger brother John in 1995. After only 9 days, a blood clot formed, and Bobby lost the incredible gift.
That was very difficult because, you know, you think, okay, here's my chance to actually have a normal life.
Physically recovering from this loss took time, but Bobby says mentally recovering took faith, which she had begun to question.
What is my purpose for being here if all I can do is just rack up medical bills?
Depression set in, and Bobby began to contemplate ending her at-home dialysis treatments. If Bobby went through with this decision, she would not be able to survive.
And I remember telling my dad one night that I wasn't going to hook up.
Many kidney patients battle with this decision, and an increasing number of people are choosing to go off dialysis.
When they make that decision, they're content.
But Bobby was not content. During a 2-hour heart-to-heart with her father, Bobby made her decision.
I didn't want to die. What I wanted was to feel better.
But many others, especially elderly patients, are choosing to go off dialysis. Often, doctors encourage younger patients, like Bobby, to persist. Bobby thought about ending dialysis a second time after finishing graduate school when her health began to fail. She spoke with a social worker and found her true strength.
I find that purpose with my relationship with God.
Bobby has many things to be grateful for: her love of photography, her career, and family and friends. But there's also a new addition to her life: Willie.
We are engaged now. We will be getting married on May 13th.
Wedding plans have begun to consume their time, but soon the two will find out if Willie may be compatible in a different way. They are praying that one of Willie's kidneys will be a perfect match for Bobby.
The chances of that is pretty slim, but it could happen.
While Bobby waits for a kidney, she finds comfort in knowing that she will not be waiting alone. This is Mariah Torning reporting for Studio One.
The most recent government statistics show that more than 25,000 people chose to go off dialysis in 2002. This was a significant increase from previous years. There are many questions surrounding the avian flu virus. We'll talk to a public health director about how we can prepare for a widespread pandemic.
Studio One closed captioning is underwritten in part by University of North Dakota Student Government. Your voice, our mission.
The College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota is proud to announce the Page Family Marketing Center. A gift from alumni Greg and Cindy Page, this center promises real-world experiences as students begin careers in marketing. The center includes a specially designed conference room for focus group research. An adjacent lab offers real-time access to software and data for marketing decisions. The Page Family Marketing Center, your next step in marketing.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door. No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
A sickness becomes a pandemic when it affects an incredibly high number of people across a huge area. The avian flu virus has emerged in over a dozen countries and is feared to become the next worldwide pandemic. Grand Forks Public Health Department Director Don Shields will tell us about pandemics and how we can prepare for one. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you, Monty. It's nice to be here.
And this is a serious, heavy topic. I want to read you something here. The World Health Organization says that an international pandemic is inevitable. Is it that serious?
Well, it is inevitable. We've had 10 pandemics in the last 300 years, and the last moderate pandemic was the 1957-58, where we had the Hong Kong flu, and the last large one was the 1917-1918 Spanish flu. And certainly fatality rates were high, illness rates were high, and it is something I do worry about.
Yeah, relatively speaking, not that long ago. How does a simple virus become a pandemic?
If you look at the flu that we normally get every year, it does shift a little bit, and every year they make a vaccine to fight off the particular viruses they think are going to be circulating. A pandemic is when there's such a large shift in the flu that we're not used to it. And so what we're looking at is something that's unknown. And the avian flu, H5 virus, is one of those that we've not seen in the human body before, so our body doesn't know how to react to it, so it becomes a very major issue.
Are there stages we need to look out for with this virus?
Well, there's stages that the virus does go through, and as you kind of watch that, and that's what has a lot of people, including ourselves, worried. The first stage is that you look and see what is circulating in animals, and we know that the avian flu is circulating in animals. You'd also look and say, is it circulating rarely in humans? It has done that. There have been 2 cases of people that have got the avian flu from very close contact, a mother and a daughter, and a nurse and a patient in Asia. So we've seen some very rare encounters of that. What happens when it becomes a pandemic is it becomes a lot easier to pass from human to human and circulates amongst all of us very quickly.
Okay. How is the government preparing for this?
Well, the government has proposed and has a national flu plan that they proposed the 1st of November. And there's a number of things that President Bush has said we should have in place. And we're glad to see that. He's proposed $7 billion be spent to develop new technology to develop vaccines. Also some money to stockpile some drugs like Tamiflu to fight a flu. Also preparedness throughout the nation in terms of exercise.
Well, plans and proposals are great, but how effective, really effective, are they?
Well, you know, I think exercising is critical, and we're going to be doing that here in Grand Forks on March 15. We're going to have a regional exercise on pandemic flu. We did have a smaller one last year in the spring, but I think it does give us a chance to identify our weaknesses and then go forward from there and try to make improvements before that does happen.
And you mentioned a vaccine earlier, and is it that simple? Can we just make a vaccine and give it to everybody?
The vaccine takes about, right now with the current technology, about 6 or 7 or 8 months to develop. They have to, in the United States with 300 million people, we have to find 350 million chicken eggs, and then they have to incubate them. That's a long process, and the technology is old. And so there's not a lot of companies around in the United States that does that anymore. And in addition, the avian flu attacks chickens and destroys eggs. So not only in this particular instance do we have trouble having a long time to develop a vaccine, but this very flu attacks the chickens that we're dependent upon for the eggs. So we need a new way of developing a vaccine. That's one of the President's proposals.
Well, in getting the word out about this sort of thing, how do we avoid a state of panic with this thing?
Well, I don't think we're at panic yet, but I think there are some things that we should do. And I think in North Dakota we're used to doing some of those things when we deal with blizzards and snow, and that is have some things around. And there are some things that I would recommend. One, if you have prescription medications, you should have about a 30-day supply on hand. You should not have your last can of chicken noodle soup in the cupboard, but you do need to have some things around because there's going to be some disruptions as we get into a pandemic flu.
Well, what can people do at home to prepare and get more information?
Well, one of the things that I think that they should go to is the government website, the www.pandemic.gov.com.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Pandemicflu.gov?
Yeah, that's right.
There we go.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, okay. Well, they can get a lot of good information off that website. You've given us plenty here today. Thanks so much for coming on the show today, Don.
Thank you very much for having me.
Very serious subject. You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be back right after this.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect North Dakota veterans with important information. North Dakota veterans can use the internet to access employment and business resources, health and benefits they deserve, housing information, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded in part by the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. North Dakota veterans and their families can get connected by visiting go.ndgrow.com.
Become a leader in healthcare with a graduate degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers degree programs and advanced practice certificate programs in the allied health professions and nursing. Our faculty give you the individual attention you need to help you attain your career goals. Distance programs for practicing professionals allow you to pursue graduate studies without interrupting your career. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I love working with people.
I'm a people person.
I consider myself to be highly motivated.
I'm a real self-starter.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
I can offer you much more than just good people skills.
You're hired.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Tune in next week on Studio One. Students face many obstacles in the learning process. We'll show you a group of students whose teachers help them overcome a large hurdle. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
This is somewhat of a milestone for us today. We have closed captioning on our program for the very first time, so welcome those viewers who use that service. We're going to leave you now with pictures of people playing billiards. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.